just because I'm thinking of killing someone doesn't mean that when they die, it's my fault, you know? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm filming another webcam video because honestly, I just want to put this out there and just talk to you guys. I feel like a lot of you guys connect to me just by what we're talking about and not always by the way I look. Like, look how weird my lips look right now. Let's ignore that. But I want to talk about the title of this video, which is My Thoughts Are Killing People. So you can interpret this in two different ways, as in I'm thinking these things and then it's causing people to want to kill themselves, or I actually genuinely think that sometimes something that I think of is causing these things to happen. Like, if I think about killing someone and they die, I genuinely think it's my fault. Like, I used to always think that whenever I wished for like bad things to happen to my parents. I remember one time when I was a kid, I was like, I wish my dad would just go away. And then my dad was gone. He's not dead, but he left, and crying and being like, why did I think those things? Why did I wish that my dad would leave? Or why did I wish that my mom would go? It took me a while to realize, you know, that we are not our thoughts, and that's something that I'm learning every single day. And I kind of wanted to talk on this video with like a stream of consciousness and kind of like fill you guys in on where I'm at. Like, literally when I was young, I thought that everything was my fault. I felt extreme guilt for absolutely everything, and I think a lot of people can relate to this. When they were young, we thought everything was our fault. When our parents broke up, it was our fault. When we had to move away, it was our fault. When anything bad happened, we felt like it was our fault. Or maybe I'm just different, but like, I felt a lot of guilt growing up, and I think a lot of people do feel guilt, especially if you're in like a Christian household or a religious household. And I experienced a lot of guilt through my religion because I was put into a Christian class, into a Christian kind of like lecture, and I felt extreme guilt because I was taught not to touch myself. I was taught not to think these things, not to say things, not to swear, not even to think of swear words. So when I would think of swear words, I would hate myself, and I would say, why am I thinking of swear words? They're just as bad as saying them. And that's very unfortunate in a lot of people who grew up with religion. Very, very common for people to feel guilt over these things that are completely natural to us. Like, I can talk about masturbation and all that shit for ages, and how guilty I felt for pleasing myself, and that's so wrong. Like, when I think about it now, like, imagine like doing something natural to our human self and feeling bad about it. I'd experience all these emotions of like anger, a lot of anger. I was a very, very angry kid, and I would think of these things of hurting people, and these things would happen. At first, I thought, I'm just God's favorite. I was quite religious when I was a kid. Up until I was 10 years old, I was religious. And I would think, God loves me so much that when someone hurts me, God hurts them. God punishes them. And it got to the point where I felt sorry for the people who would hurt me. I felt sorry for the people who abandoned me. I felt sorry for the people who betrayed me, because I would look at them and be like, damn, God's gonna get you back. And it sucked because God always got them back. And the bad things that I wish would happen to them always happened to them. Like, I truly believe in the saying, be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. And I definitely got the things that I wished for, even though I didn't really wish for them. You know the saying, like, when you wish for something from the universe, be specific, because you're gonna get it. I have a lot of negative thoughts to this day still. When I had these bad thoughts about these people, when these bad things happened to them, I felt like it was because of me. Which is not true, because bad things happen to good people. Bad things happen to people who are doing good. Bad things happen to people that I wish only good things for. But, you know, when you're young, you're irrational, and you blame everything on yourself because you don't understand. But because of all these awful things happening to people that I wished for but I didn't really want in the end, it made me very, very, very scared of my thoughts, and I had to be very careful with my thoughts, to the point where I wasn't actually freely thinking. I wasn't thinking whatever my thoughts were letting me have. I was stopping these thoughts. I would think of angry things and hurtful things, and I would say, no, 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 I don't want to think that, and I would just close my mind. And I closed my mind for a lot of things. I let a lot of things slide. I let myself dissociate a lot, because I didn't want to think these things, because I knew how powerful my mind was. All of our minds are very powerful. Maybe not that we're fucking killing people. I'm not killing people. You know, this title is My Thoughts Are Killing People. It's actually, I feel like sometimes my thoughts are killing people. Not all the time. I have to think logically, like in this video of the stream of consciousness. I have to like think logically. But yeah, it took me a very, very, very long time to realize that, like, we are not our thoughts. And gosh, I wish I learned that earlier, because I have very, very negative thoughts. I have thoughts of killing people. I have thoughts of hurting myself every single night. This is so honest to say. It makes me want to cry. Every single night, I have thoughts telling me to kill myself. Every single night since I was young. And I can't get rid of them. And I'm crying now. I'm getting upset now because I've only said this to two people in my life, and that's my psychologist and my housemate, Taylor. Um, but it's really hard to tell people that I have very, very negative thoughts, that if I stand on a ledge, I think of pushing myself off. And if I'm alone with someone, I think of killing them. And if I'm like standing on a ledge with someone, I think of pushing them. When I'm walking through an alleyway with someone, I think of killing them and getting away with it. And it sucks because I don't want to say these thoughts, and I don't want to admit that I have really, really, really negative thoughts of harming people and harming myself. Um, but if anything, it makes me a good person, because I live every day with these thoughts, and I have to tell myself not to follow through with them. Like, I feel like I was born a bad seed, and I had to learn to be good. And I was born with like a really, really, really negative mindset. And I had to learn to be positive. I had to learn to be good. I had to train myself to be good, which sucks because a lot of people say, like, you're so nice, you're so good, you're so thoughtful, you're so generous. But I feel like I have to work 10 times harder to be nice, to be generous, to be caring, because I have to control what's up in here. And what's up in here isn't nice. What's up in here is negative. What's up in here doesn't trust anybody, thinks the worst of people, thinks everyone's gonna hurt me. And it's really hard to go against these thoughts, but I learn every day to cope with it. Whew. I wrote down over here, your thoughts become the house you live in, so fill it with things that you want in your home. And it says, I don't know. I think that was a quote that I was trying to get, and I don't really remember how the quote goes, but like, you spend most of your time in here, so make it a fucking beautiful place to be. This is the room you spent the most of your time in, so let's decorate the walls. Let's make it pretty. Let's add some flowers. Like, make the space that you live in the most pretty. Make it feel like home. Make it feel safe. When I was in high school, I had thoughts of this girl that I didn't like, and I had very, very vivid visions of sawing her limbs off. I can name the tools that I used in my head. Like, it wasn't a one time scenario. Like, I have planned out the scenario of hurting her, and I've planned on how to get away with it, and when to do it, and which day to do it, etc., etc. Like, I thought about it a lot, to the point where, like, obviously I didn't want to. I didn't want to think of a plan to hurt someone, and to think of it in detail, to spend a lot of my time thinking about this is not healthy. I didn't want that. But I couldn't, like, stop my thoughts. I just kept going there. And it came to a few years later, and she lost her limbs. When she lost her limb, it made me have to be more careful with my thoughts, because it made me feel the same guilt that I felt when I was a child, when I would say things like, I wish this person would go away, and then they would. That's not actually the trigger for me to make this video. The real reason I've made this video was one of my recent thoughts that I had. I was clinging onto this person that I didn't really like. Not that I was clinging onto them, like, physically, but, like, I was sorry. I was watching what they were doing. I was looking at where they were going. And when they were talking to me, I was making plans to see them. And they weren't good. It wasn't a plan to do fun things. It was to hurt her. And at the end of the day, I don't want to hurt people. But I had one of those visions again where it's not a vision. It's like a repetitive thought. It's like a thought that just keeps going, and I can't rein it in. Like, I can't reel it in. This one thought I had continuously with her was being in this park and drugging her and then leaving her there to die. And recently she passed away, and they left her in a park, and they left her there to die on drugs. And it made me really, really upset, because I never wished for these things to happen. I never wished for her to die and left alone in a park, for her friends to abandon her on drugs and for her to die alone. I never wished for that, but when it happened, it made me think of how much time I spent thinking of doing that to her. And of course, I never would, and I never will do something like that to someone. But it really does hurt because it just made me feel like my thoughts are very powerful. It made me feel like my thoughts are killing people when they're not. And it's hard to tell myself that they're not when I think of these things. And then people disappear. And I'm not my thoughts, and I'm telling myself that, and I'm telling myself that I don't make these things happen. But it's hard to believe that when I think these things and then those things happen. I don't have magic powers. I'm not God's favorite. There isn't someone who is listening to these thoughts and making them happen. If anything, I just feel like this is the universe telling me to be careful about what thoughts I cling on to, and that I need to look at my thoughts in like a passing manner. I need to look at my thoughts from an outside perspective and see them float away and let them float away, and not carry on thinking of these things, but also not block myself from having these thoughts that are quite natural for me. But are they natural to me because I grew up in a very rough environment and I was neglected and etc., etc.? Are these thoughts natural to me because I've always since I could remember, I've been somewhat neglected? So I'm like, I don't know if I should stop telling myself I'm a bad seed that tries to be good, and instead I'm a good seed that was made bad, and now I have to learn to be good again. Because that sounds more accurate to me. I don't think anyone's born bad. But when these thoughts have been all that I know for all of my life, it's hard to think that I'm not a bad seed, because I feel like I am. And I don't know how to conclude this video in a positive way, because I don't really know what to say. All I can say is that I'm not the cause of these people dying. I'm not the cause of these people being hurt. I'm not the cause of these things happening to these people that I once disliked or had issues with. Like, I'm not the cause of that. But I can control my thoughts, and I can detach from them and make my thoughts have less weight, and not feel so much guilt for the thoughts that I had, and feel like I'm responsible for these things happening. Because at the end of the day, like, I do believe our thoughts have a lot of power, which is why I feel so guilty for thinking these things, because I know how much power there is, and I know how protected I am, and I know that there's someone looking out for me. There's something bigger than me looking out for me. So it's hard to think that when everything I want, I get, which is true, everything I've ever wanted, I've gotten. Like, sometimes I feel like the luckiest person alive because everything I've ever wanted, I've gotten. So it's hard to think that when I want pain and suffering for someone else, and that exact same situation happens to them, it's hard to think that I didn't cause that. If you guys have any uplifting words for me, please let me know. Obviously, you can tell I'm struggling a bit. Like, I'm not struggling emotionally. Like I'm not in a dark space. I do have very, very negative thoughts every night. I have tics that I dream. Like, when I go into like my sleep state and I start to relax, I like have these things that I repeat in threes, and they change every few months. And recently it's been, I want to kill myself, I want to kill myself, I want to kill myself. And I managed to change it to I want to kiss myself, I want to kiss myself, I want to kiss myself. Just because I don't want to have the word kill in my head, but I also need to train myself not to say I want, because that's like needing something and like feeling like you don't have something, like, or like feeling scarce in something that you like, not having enough of something. So yes, I've like moved on from I want to kill myself to I want to kiss myself, but I also don't want to be having these tics that are like I want, I want, I want, I need, I need. Slowly train them into more positive thoughts, which is working. Like, I didn't actually know that I was capable to change my like little tics in my head when I go to sleep. Like, I only tic when I go to sleep. Like, when I'm getting into my dream state, when I start to relax, so I'll do it in front of people sometimes, and if I'm like falling asleep anywhere, I just like start to tic. Even just like learning that I can change that main tic of like I want to kill myself to I want to kiss myself, even like being able to do that while I'm like unconscious and like going to sleep, like to know that I can still change my thought pattern is very enlightening for me. It makes me feel good because I know I can change the I want to blah 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 into something else, like I have everything I want, or I'm here now, or everything is the way it should be. Like, I wish those were good. I wish I had those tics. I wish I would go to sleep and I'd be like, everything is the way it should be. Everything is the way it should be. Everything is the way it should be. Like, I wish that's what my brain would take me to, but it's not. It's usually quite destructive, and painful, and a lot of it is on my end. A lot of it's like punishing myself. I don't know how to wrap this video up, but if you guys have any advice for me or any uplifting thoughts, I would really appreciate it. I'm doing a lot better. I bought my flights to Finland today, so I'm gonna go see my family. I'm going to Germany as well, Netherlands, and the UK. And a little bit of Switzerland. So if you guys are in any of those countries, please hit me up. I already asked you guys on my Instagram where you want me to go, and if you are able to like shout me a place to stay. And a lot of people have offered me places to stay all throughout Germany, Denmark, Netherlands, Sweden, Norway. It's been so nice that all of you guys have offered me a place to stay when I'm visiting Europe, which is good because maybe I can even visit more countries because I don't have to pay so much for accommodation because I will be staying with my sunflowers, aka you guys. So you can follow me on Instagram. It's universal.hobo. And if you message me on there and you say, hey, I'm from Norway, I'm from Austria, or whatever the fuck, if you message me on there, say where you're from and if you have a place for me to stay or come visit, even if you don't have a place for me to stay, but you want to take me out somewhere, maybe show me some of your favorite restaurants or your favorite museums or something, please message me on Instagram and open that up to me because I've been opening up my DMs, looking at all the offers that people have made, and they've been nothing but sweet. Like, thank you so much for everyone who's been like, come stay with me, come hang out with me, let's do this, I'll take you here, I'll take you there, which is very sweet. Like, I really want to get out there and meet you guys, and thank you guys all for everything you've ever done for me. And yeah, so even though I'm very, very emotional in this video, I'm actually one of the most stable I've ever been, and today has been one of the best days of my life. Like, today has full-on been one of the best days of my life, which is crazy because I'm in my bedroom alone at 3 a.m. crying to my camera, talking about negative thoughts. And I think if anything, it's just balance. When I have such a good day, I gotta ruin it somehow. No, not really. I remember doing that as a kid though. Like, I couldn't just have a good day. I had to ruin it. Like, but no, for me it's more like when you have a really good day and I'm feeling very sentimental, I'm going to see my best friend, I'm going to see my family, I'm gonna see my brother. I haven't seen him since he was 7. He's 15 now. I haven't seen my family since 2015, so it's been a long ass time since I've seen my family. Damn, it's been like 7 years or something. Me crying and all that stuff is just balance of like, I've had a really good day and I need to like do some more shadow work. I need to come inside here and figure myself out here, because even though all these good things are happening to me externally, like I'm able to like buy my flights and like organize all this stuff, like I do need to go inside and like fix what's in here so that when I go see my family, I'm a better person. And I feel like I'm the best version I've ever been. I genuinely feel like I'm the best version I've ever been. I'm making this video to let you guys know that I'm a very flawed human being and I have a lot of issues that I still need to work on, just like everyone else. So I appreciate everyone saying to me, you're an inspiration, I look up to you, but just know that I fucking struggle, and I struggle to stay good. I struggle to stay good, man, because it's easier to be bad. Naturally, it's easier for me to be bad. It's easier for me to be mean, rude, and to hurt people, because that's the first thoughts that come through my head. And then logically, I come in and I'm like, actually, people are nice, people are trustworthy, people are genuine, people aren't fake. When they say they love me, they mean it. Like, yeah, all right, let's wrap this up. Love you guys all. Thank you so much. Bye.